Testing, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's been a while. It's been a good minute since I've recorded a video while on a walk. I got off work a few hours ago, and I should usually be going to bed right about now. But I got something to do tomorrow, like early in the morning. So I decided to pull an all-nighter and try to stay up through the rest of the day, and then sleep tomorrow night at the time I usually do. So at the time of recording this, it's almost 6 in the morning, and I usually go to sleep around 6 in the morning. So I'm going to stay up till the next 6 in the morning, or at least try to. I may fall asleep at midnight tomorrow night, but we'll see how it goes. But I decided to go on a walk, and I also decided to record a video because I've just had some thoughts in my head. Oh, I was wondering what that noise was. There's a big tarp at the construction site over there. Stuff blowing in the wind. I didn't put it down right. Anyway, I just watched a reaction video of someone reacting to Never Hike Alone 2. And with the new Sweet Revenge, as much as I am mixed opinions on it, like the Jason mask is terrible, but the rest of the movie, it's like, if it's good for what it is, but it's too short. We need a full-length film, but I don't want a full-length film with the wrong mask. That's neither here nor there. But with the new additions to the lore added with Sweet Revenge, which coincidentally I was already going to do something similar, because I had an idea for my own story of Jason, my own iteration, and I was going to, come up with some deep lore, and I already had the idea that the lake would give you powers if you'd, drown in it, and I was going to make that a plot point, because Tommy drowns in 6 and then gets brought back with CPR, so I guess they had the same ideas as me, and they already did it officially before I could do it in my fan thing. That's neither here nor there. The point is, I've been thinking about Jason a lot, and I just got some thoughts and questions and whatnot in my head. Like, since Tommy is drowned in the lake, and now that we know drowning in the lake, if you somehow come back from it, then, you're powerful like Jason. You can take a stab. Could that explain how he survived in Never Hike Alone 2 when he got shot with 2 arrows? I mean, this was before Sweet Revenge established that. So, unless Waffle Stomp Films, I forget the actor who plays Kyle in the movie, but it's also the guy who's making the movie. I forgot his name, sorry. But did he come up with the same idea? Because I came up with it before they did it officially, so maybe he thought of it and was like, yeah, and Tommy drowned, so yeah. I mean, technically, wait, didn't they already do that in the comics before it was done in the films officially? I didn't know about that part from the comics until I seen a video about it. So I came up with that independently. So either he also came up with it independently, or also seen the comics. Or maybe Tommy just survived because plot. We didn't want to see one of our favorite characters die, so he just had him live, even though he definitely should have probably died from those 2 arrows. I mean, whatever, it is what it is. But I was thinking, if he's immortal and stuff like Jason now because he drowned in the lake, why is he still aged? I know it's because his actor aged, so yeah, that's just how it is. But does that mean Tommy, when he gets to the point of where he should die from old age, he's just going to not, and he's just going to look like an old man forever? Or does the lake, youth, make you, will it eventually, if you purposefully like drown in the lake to get these Jason powers, the ability to take a stab wound and maybe some extra strength, could you theoretically, like, if you not drown again, but just go in the lake again enough or stay around it enough, will it act like a fountain of youth? This could explain how Jason, despite being, fucking almost 100 years old at this point, over-exaggerating a little bit, but he's almost there. And he's like still moving like he's at least mid-30s, maybe mid-20s. He's active, he's agile. He doesn't have the old man, oh, my hip. Or even late 40s, oh, my back. No, he's still moving. Sure, he's an undead corpse, but he's still moving like he's still got it. So could the lake be the reason for that? I don't know. And about the lake making you undead like Jason. Obviously, I don't know if they ever planned on doing that officially in the film continuity. They just randomly introduced that in the comics, and then the person who did have that happen to her in the comics, Jason did eventually kill her. So, womp womp. So we never get to see if it worked the way I'm thinking it works, but do you just not age? Like, the reason why Tommy aged, like I said, his actor aged, but it's also because maybe they didn't plan for that thing from the comic to actually be a thing in the films, officially or fan film wise. So it's possible that now that it's been established that it's a thing, if we were to continue off that plot thread, would Tommy just look like he's like in his 20s forever, like he does in part 6? Would he just look like his part 6 self forever? And could that explain, the Friday 13th video game? Even though that's technically its own canon, its own universe separate from the movies. It had its own stuff going on. And all sorts of video games. So the reason why the characters just look like that and, they keep coming back after dying, because it's a video game. You respawn. That's just how games are. I had a headcanon for that. Like, in between films, when Jason is quote-unquote dead or just sleeping, according to his mom in Freddy vs. Jason. What if this is what he's dreaming about? We see in Freddy vs. Jason that he dreams about killing. That's all he does. That's all he thinks about, killing. While he's dead or sleeping, he just kills in his dreams. So what if the entire Friday the 13th, the game, is just him in his head, dreaming all this, and every time, the round ends and a new round starts, that's because he started dreaming again. And, similar to how Freddy has all the souls of the people he killed inside of him, and you can see their faces on his chest, what if other slashers and, boogeymen work the same way? And the specific, kids, the characters we see in the game, are people he's killed when he's awake or active or alive or whatever you want to call it. And now that he killed them and now he has their souls and he's using them to make himself more powerful, he can now play with them eternally whenever he's in one of his sleeps. That's just the headcanon I came up with. It's very complicated. And the reason why we never see him kill these characters, most of them aren't from the movies. They added a few of them from the movie later on. But most of them aren't from the movies. It's because, again, this is not the movie universe. It's not the movie continuity. It's a separate one. So these are all people that existed, and a whole different set of stories happen. Like how 2009 is a different universe from the original. And it's just new characters, new events. This would also explain why Part 2 Jason is big in the game instead of being small like he was in the movie. I know it's because they had Kane Hodder do the motion capture suits, so they're all going to have his build, which is a good call. Jason should always be, big. But, Part 2 Jason was the one that was supposed to be kind of small, so it is a little strange. But it also makes sense. Because maybe in the game universe, he was always big. He didn't start out small and then supernaturally grow big. He was just always big, that's kind of cool. Although the idea of him being small and then supernaturally growing big would also add to the, the lake is magical thing. So I like both options. I wish the Nick Antosca script got made, and that whole thing where every time he gets defeated, he comes back stronger each time. I wish that made it into official canon, because it's a good explanation. It's a better explanation than, oh, they just switched actors, so don't think about it. It's just an actor switch. I like it when there's in-universe explanations for things. But that's neither here nor there. So the question that I just has been a long 10 minutes of rambling basically about Jason, but the point I was making earlier when I first asked the question was, did Tommy survive the arrows because he drowned in the lake, therefore has the same abilities as Jason? I want to say, like, they are making more movies, even though Jason was quote unquote killed for good at the end of that movie, and Tommy moved on with his life. With Jason's head having a bubble come out and then showing a guy who's going to take up Kyle's place and, continue his legacy, they're implying another movie. I don't know if it's going to be that animated one they're working on or if that's a different continuity, but they're going to do another one. So Jason's not dead. He's coming back. So, they could continue now that the Sweet Revenge and the official movies universes have, established that the lake works that way. Even if they didn't initially intend it at the time of making Never Hike Alone 2, they could go back and make it official now if they want to. And that could explain how Tommy survived the arrows. But there was something up with Tommy from the get-go, though. Because Jason, being able to kill people the way he does, he's the killer. He's supernatural. He's got the powers from the lake. So, of course, he's going to be able to crush skulls with his bare hands and stab people, stab them in the head like that because he's strong. Tommy being able to Jason through the fucking eye, the left eye, that's not normal. It could just be the people doing the movies didn't do their research and, didn't know that it's superhuman strength to be able to crush a skull, let alone go through it. It could be just they just didn't do their research. But regardless, this means Tommy has fucking super strength, even as a kid. So what the hell is going on with that? Did he already drown in the lake as a child and was already brought back with CPR once? Or does being near the lake give you some innate abilities? Living near it and drinking from it? This is going off I'm going off my version, where the crystal lake is literally a crystal lake with magic crystals at the bottom. So the water is, infected with the crystal's magic. So doing stuff with it would, like drinking it and living near it, it'll do stuff like that. But that's my fan version. That's not official, so I can't use that. And officially, how is Tommy able to just, like that, just right through the skull? Maybe because Jason's deformed? Maybe his skull wasn't formed right, so it's weaker in one spot? That doesn't seem right. Hello? Anyway, that doesn't seem right. Jason's always like super, super strong. Why would he be the super OP, unstoppable, basically a human tank? And then that one spot, it's like, that doesn't seem right. And going off the idea of he's deformed, that could also mean his skull is actually thicker and harder to break than a normal human skull, because his head is all misshapen in the earlier movies when he was not an undead zombie. It's possible his skull has like thick bone growing out of parts of it. Although I think, with the later movies when he becomes a zombie, those bumps, those misshapen lumps on his head are gone. I think that may imply they were just fleshy, not bony. And the reason why he's all mostly normal-headed now is because those probably drained. Maybe it's like one of those things where you just got to cut it open and let it drain out. But, maybe they didn't know that. Or maybe it wasn't pus-filled, and maybe it was just lump of flesh or fat, and when he started to rot, obviously that started to go away. I don't know. Who knows? Or maybe they just forgot to make his head look lumpy when they made him a zombie. That goes. They say Part 7's face is the best. It's the most perfect one. But if that's the case, if this is the case that they forgot to add the lumpy head, and there's no reason why the lump shouldn't still be there, that kind of ruins Part 7 slightly. No, Part 7 is still a great fucking face, even with the mistakes. Nah, that's neither here nor there. Another question I had, I think I've asked this before, and I think people have debated on it. Is Jason actually saying or choo choo ha ha if you're uneducated? Is he actually saying it, or is that just the score of the movie? Like only the audience hears that. It's just ambience to creep you out. Or is he actually saying it? And if he's actually saying it, one, that means Jason can talk, but he's not. Or maybe all he can say is Kiki Mama, because maybe there's something wrong with his vocal cords. But two, if he is actually saying it, and it's not just something for the audience only, this may explain something. How Jason's able to always find people and whatnot. Is Jason echolocating? Hear me out. We don't know if both of his eyes work. One of his eyes, at least before he became a zombie, when he was still human, one of his eyes was drooping down. It was his right eye. So when he had the bag over his head, he only cut one eye hole. You could say he's lazy, or I don't know, but theoretically, maybe he's blind in one eye. Which means when he lost his eye in Part 4, he lost his good eye. So is Jason blind from this point forward? No, in Part 6, when he comes back, he can clearly see Tommy. He clearly sees. So his other eye is good, unless they forgot that he's supposed to be blind, so it's another retcon thing. That's neither here nor there. But going off the idea that he's blind in one eye and he lost his good eye, could he be going mama as a form of echolocation? I know what you're thinking. Only whales and bats do that. Well, there was a blind guy who learned how to do it. He figured it out. May he rest in peace. Before he passed away, he started teaching other blind people to do it. And other people in general, just in case they go blind. It is possible for humans to do it. It's just not a natural, innate ability for us like it is for bats and whales and dolphins. Like, we gotta actively try to figure it out. It just comes to them naturally. And they got like an organ in their head built for it. At least the whales and dolphins do. They have the melon. Humans and possibly other animals too, if you can train them, can do it. So do you think Jason learned how to echolocate? Now, this is going off the idea that he's blind. We know that he can see out of his right eye, because he's able to see out of it in Part 6 and 7 and yada yada. But then that still begs the question, why did he only cut one eye hole in Part 2? Is it because he didn't want to try to mess with his other eye? Like, because of his other eye being a little droopy, he couldn't figure out how to cut the other eye hole correctly because it wasn't level with the other one. So he said, fuck it, I only need one anyway. I wouldn't put it past him. Jason does not seem like a very patient kind of guy. So, yeah, that actually makes sense. That actually lines up. So, it's a possibility. Really. Jason echolocates. It's interesting. It's very interesting. Another question I had. What all is continuity with Never Hike Alone? Like, what is all officially part of it? Like, we know Part 6 and anything beforehand is. But is Part 7 part of it? Is Part 8? Probably not Part 9. Probably, definitely not Jason X. Freddy vs. Jason? Nah. In Freddy vs. Jason, when they blow up the camp with the propane, as a kid, I thought that meant the whole thing. Like, it's all gone. But if that's the case, then Never Hike Alone, we still see the campsite from the first movie. That's still there. So either that didn't happen in Freddy vs. Jason, or Freddy vs. Jason is not canon with Never Hike Alone. There are fan films that ignore official sequels. Like, there's one that, I think it's called Vengeance, that ignores everything after part 6 and actually shows Jason walking out of the lake carrying the rock. And actually uses that rock to kill someone. That's an awesome, comeback kill right there. Love it. But is it possible Never Hike Alone ignored sequels? I don't know for sure. They do make a lot of references to the other movies. Then again, those could just be references. That doesn't mean those movies actually did happen in that continuity, in that universe. I don't know. That'd be weird and crazy if all the movies, well, ignoring 2009, because that's separate from the original series, but if all of the original series is canon with Never Hike Alone, how does that work with Jason X? If Jason's supposed to be frozen, how is he? Because the name Ghost Jason implies it's something similar to Victor Crowley. People say Jason stole from Michael a lot. And now he's apparently stealing from fucking Victor Crowley now. But Ghost Jason kind of implies it's something like that. So could his physical, real self be frozen? And because he is out of commission, does this happen in between all the movies when he's quote-unquote sleeping or dead? Does he just come back as Ghost Jason until his real body gets resurrected? So he's killing people as a ghost or a phantom or spirit? That's an interesting idea. I like that idea. I like that. Side tangent. People hate Part 9. I get what Part 9 was trying to do, saying that Jason is so unstoppable. Yeah, we all agree. Even if you do something as drastic as blowing him up, he'll still come back. Yes. The way they did it, though, no. Trying to imply that the little worm thing possessing people's bodies, that's Jason. That's been Jason this whole time. No, that is a slap to the face to the earlier movies and all the fans and everything. Jason was not a weird little monster guy. He was a boy who drowned in a lake. A poor little deformed boy. This is like you forgot who Jason was and you just made some shit up. No. But I have an idea. Maybe instead of doing the whole he was a demon worm thing, maybe say you can't even stop him by doing something as drastic as blowing him up because the lake. Think of it as like SCP-076-2. Every time he dies, every time he gets damaged to the point where he can't continue or he gets completely obliterated, atomized even, he just reforms in the lake and then walks out. Same thing with the Incredible Hulk and the Green Door. Thank you, Death Battle, for teaching me about that. That's probably an example more people will know about than freaking SCP. But what if it works like that? Every time he's gone, he just comes back out of the lake. Meaning, if he didn't get resurrected as Uber Jason in Jason X, he probably would have Crystal Lake might not exist anymore in the timeline of Jason X because the whole Earth is dead. We don't know if that means there's no, like, all the water's dried up, or if it just means there's no oxygen, but that could explain why he didn't immediately, if my theory is correct and he could come back from the lake, that could explain why he had to be resurrected as Uber Jason instead of coming back through the lake, because the lake's gone. Now he doesn't have a respawn point. Although that's just, again, that's not official. That's just something I came up with. So it's not officially how it is anyway. But that'd be a neat idea. I like that. It would explain why his damages seem to change. Like, I loved the continuity. Like, the continuity keeping isn't perfect in the first 7 films. Like, it's not 100%, but it was close enough that I noticed it as a kid. I was like, oh, Friday the 13th made me appreciate when things keep continuity. Part 7, we see all the damages from all the other movies. His machete chop where his eye's missing, the axe chop, the cheek wound, everything. It's all there. I love that. But then in the next movie, for some reason the axe wound and the cheek wound are there, even though they're like smaller, but the eye wound is fucking missing. In part 9, his missing eye switched. Jason X, they remembered all the wounds, but he's flesh colored again instead of zombie colored. But all the wounds are there. He's missing his eye and whatnot. Then in Freddy vs. Jason, he's a zombie, but he doesn't have any of his wounds. His eye is back. What the hell? Well, if he's respawning from the lake, that could explain why those wounds are not there no more. Because now it's a new body. He can, make new damage, new battle wounds that'll stick around for a while till that body's completely worn out, and then he's just resurrected from the lake again. It's an idea I had. Of course, again, it's just an idea I came up with. It's not what actually happens in the movies. The only explanation is either each movie where there's an inconsistency is now a new universe where things happen differently, or it's just the film creator screwing up, forgetting continuity. Yeah, it's neither here nor there. Another thing about part 9, when he does come back at the end, if this is supposed to be a complete rebirth, a new body, why does he still look like how he did at the beginning? Still looks undead and zombie-ish. His mask is still sunken into his face. He has all the same battle wounds. And he even has the same clothes. What the fuck? Shouldn't he be, born anew? No clothes, no rotten flesh. Thinking about it, why would he come out as a full-grown adult again? Shouldn't he be a baby? Even if you want to say the supernatural magic made him come out as a baby for maybe a minute before supernaturally growing back to a full adult size. Why would he be undead still? Where would he get clothes and the mask? Maybe I can understand the mask. The mask at this point is just who Jason is at this point. It's part of him. He's been wearing it for so long. It's such a core part of who he is. People know him by his mask. Maybe the supernatural magic of the lake, or of the curse, would give him a new mask. But why would the mask still be sunk into his face? Because that's the explanation in the movie. He's been wearing the mask so long, his flesh started to grow around it, and it sunk into his face. If this is a rebirth from the new, shouldn't the mask be on top of his face again, not sunken into it? I don't know. Part 9 is a fucking mess. Part 9 was awful, just awful. That's why I don't like to think of it as canon, but anything after part 7 I don't count as canon. It's a different universe. Part 8, different universe. Part 9, definitely a different universe. Part 10, different universe. I want to say Freddy vs. Jason is connected, but no, the fact that he doesn't have any of his battle wounds left, and the fact that they gave him the stupid fear of water. I know officially, according to all, records and all the film creators, it's all canon. Even though the continuity errors in the films, we're supposed to ignore those and say this is all the same world. They're all canon. Part 1 through 7, 8, even 9, 10, and Freddy vs. Jason are all canon. The only one that's not canon is 2009, because that's the start of a new universe. We're supposed to just Make it's all one world. And I can do that with the first 7. Sure, there's minor little continuity errors, but I can overlook those. Part 8 and onward fucked it up royally. Jason was a deformed child from the get-go. He wasn't a normal boy who started to look deformed because he's becoming waterlogged. In part 9, Jason's not a fucking body-jumping little demon worm. I mean, Jason X, it's a fun bad movie. Him in space, that's awesome. It's fun. It's campy. It's enjoyable. It's one of those turn your brain off and just enjoy type movies. People hate on Jason X too much. Just enjoy the movie. It's Jason. Enjoy him murdering people. Come on. And, well, there's nothing wrong other than the fear of water. There's nothing wrong with Freddy versus Jason's take of Jason. I could see it. We could say that maybe it could pick up right after 7. And the reason why all the battle damages aren't there is because, he was in hell and Freddy resurrected him fresh straight from hell, so new body. That also would explain the change of clothes. After he resurrected, he found new clothes, which is where he got the jacket from. It's like when he stole those clothes in part 3 and switched them out from his overalls. Jason's not above, changing clothes, so. And his clothes in part 7 were barely hanging in there, so it was about time for him to get new clothes, I guess. But if it's a new body from fresh again, all the battle wounds are gone. Why does it still look undead, rotten like a zombie? Oh, and another thing. People say that the whole tranquilizer thing in Freddy vs. Jason doesn't make sense, because if he's undead, he shouldn't have a circulatory or nervous system for those tranks to work on for him to get through. Well, if he's resurrected through Freddy's magic powers, and this is a new body, maybe that could make sense. But again, he still looks rotten, so no. That's just weird. You could say maybe he's not undead and rotten in Freddy vs. Jason. Maybe he's just dirty. I mean, that could make sense. We see him rise up out of the dirt, and Jason isn't often the type of person to take a bath. Maybe his skin is just stained gray from not washing. Maybe. I don't know. That may be a stretch. But, speaking of more like inconsistencies, timeline-wise, because like I said, even though there's inconsistencies officially on record from the official film creators and everyone, despite there being inconsistencies, all the original 11 films are all the same universe. Timeline-wise, that means Jason X has to take place after Freddy vs. Jason. And with the regeneration ability established, it was established in the novelization of Part 2, and then brought into the film continuity with Jason X. That explains why he's no longer zombie-looking in that movie. He has normal skin tone again. But why does he have all his battle wounds back if those were gone in Jason X? You got the axe wound, the missing eye. It's all... So his regenerating flesh, like, let's just pretend like his damages were there in Freddy vs. Jason. The axe chop, the missing cheek, the missing eye. Those, let's say they were there. And his healing factor caused him to heal and look more human again in Jason X. Why did it unrot his flesh but not regenerate his eye? Why does he still have those wounds? They say in the movie he has the ability to regenerate lost or damaged tissue, implying that shit should be back. But ignoring all that, why only now is he showing this? Like, I guess you could say in each time he's resurrected, he isn't up for very long before he's defeated again, so maybe he doesn't have time to regenerate fully. Then, of course, we have in between Part 7 and Part 8, where even though he's in one of his dead states, clearly he's less rotten in 8 than he is in 7. So he healed when he should not be. Like, the reason why he rotted so much in he looks so rotten in Part 7, his ribs, his spine, bones are showing. Because when he's, in one of his dead states, same thing with in between 4 and 6. He was human colored in 4 because he wasn't an undead zombie yet. Although I've seen a video arguing that he was always undead from the moment he drowned, but that's an argument for another day. Part 4, he was human skin tone because he wasn't dead yet, quote unquote. He wasn't an undead zombie yet. Then, in between 4 and 6, while he was in his grave, he was rotting, which is why he looks like a zombie when he's brought back in 6. In Part 7, not only is he, again, quote unquote, dead, or sleeping, he's also underwater. So that probably does something to the decomposition process, which may explain why he's all bony. It also could be just fish nibbling on him occasionally. So why the fuck, if this regeneration ability is a thing, why so while he was dead in Part 7 at the end, in between 7 and 8, he healed while dead, even though clearly when he's quote unquote dead or sleeping, defeated, in slumber, he's not supposed to. Whatever. They really fucked up after 7. Don't get me wrong, I still enjoy the movies. They're fun for what they are. Just watching Jason kill people, seeing all that is all still good. People hate on Part 8, and I get it. It kind of deserves some of it, because we were promised Jason in New York, and we only get it at the end a little bit. It's mostly Jason on a boat. But if you ignore the false advertising, like if it was advertised as Jason on a boat, and then you get a nice little surprise, oh, they're in New York at the end, maybe the film would have been received better. Because the movie itself isn't bad. Like, I complain about the continuity. That's a me problem. That's me. If the movie was a standalone universe and not supposed to be connected to the first 7, I think it'd be fine. The part 8 was good. Had a lot of good kills. That version of Jason is intimidating. Not as good as Part 7. But as it is, pretty good. He's still undead rotting, but they go for a different type of zombie. Clearly he's supposed to be kind of waterlogged, which makes sense. Wonder why Part 7 wasn't waterlogged. He was underwater for so long. But that's neither here nor there. Although the face at the end is not it. Like, Part 7's face was so good. Nothing's ever topping Part 7. But Part 8 was such a letdown. Like, not only then they forgot the whole he's supposed to be missing one eye thing. They forgot the wound there. I don't know, something about his face doesn't look. Maybe it's because he's in pain because he's being melted by toxic waste. But something about the face doesn't look like, obviously because he's rotting, undead, and deformed. It's like startling at first. Like, like if you see that, you're gonna freak out. But actually looking at it for a minute longer and getting used to it doesn't look scary. It looks sad. The expression he makes when he's going because he's being melted by toxic waste looks like a sad, scared child, which I guess that actually makes sense for Jason. Maybe that was intentional. But it's what Jason is deep down inside, with the whole symbolic ending of Part 8 where he melts into a child again. It's what he is deep down inside, but on the surface he's supposed to be. Part 7 got it right. Ain't no one ever beaten Part 7. Part 7, best Jason. I'm sorry. That Jason had aura. damn. Part 8, before he loses the mask, also great Jason. Looks cool. Played by the same person, Kane Hodder. You're the best. You're always going to make a good Jason. Part 8 Jason has its own aura, but not as good as Part 7. Ain't nothing gonna be as good as fucking spine showing. That damaged mask, all the damage from the previous movies. And they forgot the bullet wound from the end of Part 6, but that's a minor nitpick. And then that face. That fucking face. Even though they forgot the bullet wound on the mask, I think they remembered the bullet wound on the head, which I don't get how that works. No, whatever. It's not a here nor there. That Jason, and the chain on his neck. He just walked around with that shit. That looks so fucking cool on him. I love it. I think the only thing that may actually top Part 7 would be Savini Jason from the video game, where he's literally rose up out of hell. Like, they had one goal in mind with the Savini skin. Top Part 7, and they did. Played by Kane Hodder again, because all the models in that game were motion captured by Kane. So, Kane did eventually play Jason again. It just wasn't in a movie, it was in a video game. But still, played by Kane again, so that's good. They took the chain that he had around his neck in Part 7 and was like, okay, wrapped around his body like a belt and a shoulder strap. Holy shit. The mask being all broken and shit. Alright, we'll do that. And we'll also make it black because it's been in hell. They burned it. It's a singed mask. Holy shit, dude. The scratches on his face are so... And then Jason himself. I thought the rotting bone showing couldn't get any more gnarly and more cool. But he's got fire. Literally fire. He's fiery eyes. Fiery mouth. All his scars on his body have fire. He's like he has an internal fire inside of him. The internal rage of Jason Voorhees. Okay. I'm nerdgasming here. That's neither here nor there. Movie-wise, nothing's being Part 7. But hot damn. God. They better not screw up the next movie. They better make it good. The next full-length movie. I'm not counting Sweet Revenge as the official 13th Friday the 13th movie. Even though it is a short film. So it is a film, so technically it counts. But like, we're not counting that. It's a short film. It's not a full-length feature film. The next full-length feature film better not screw Jason up. They better not screw him up. The mask better have the right amount of holes in it, and they better get a big, intimidating actor. Someone Kane Hodder or even better. Well, I don't think anyone could be better than Kane Hodder, but like size-wise. Because the reason why they chose Ken over Kane is because he was 2 inches taller. Which is such fucking bullshit, man. No offense to Ken Kersinger. He's a great guy. But it should have been Kane Hodder playing Jason. If they wanted him because he's 2 inches taller, just give Kane some shoes that add 2 inches. Give him big boots. Or just film at certain angles. Camera tricks to make him look bigger than he is. That's what they've always done. Oh my God. It's so stupid. Kane's Jason. Kane is Jason. End of discussion. The only other person who did it pretty good was Ted White. May he rest in peace. Part 4 Jason. Kane and Ted are the two top dogs. R.I.P. Kane. R.I.P. Ted. You will be missed. You were a good guy. You were a good Jason. Damn, it sucks that the Tommy era and the Kane era and they didn't overlap. That would have been so cool if we had Tommy versus Kane Hodder Jason. It's okay. I don't want to get on another side tangent. Ain't no one beating Kane Hodder. Ken Kersinger, you move stiff. Like fucking Frankenstein. It's not how Jason is. Maybe in the earlier movies before Kane Hodder, but when Kane Hodder came in and did his thing, that is Jason now. That is definitively Jason now. You got to try to recreate that. The head's got to move first, and then the body. You got to have that aggression. Jason just doesn't really seem... I mean, it was... Freddy vs. Jason was good for what he is. Good for what he was. Big, tough-looking dude, showing off how powerful he is, so he could be a cool opponent to fight Freddy. They did that. Good job. But did you have to make him stiff like Frankenstein? I get that in part 6 he was brought back with lightning, which was a Frankenstein homage. It was a reference. But Jason is not Frankenstein's monster. Jason is not... whatever. It is what it is. You know, when I was a kid, I was a Freddy guy. And then after watching Freddy vs. Jason and seeing that Freddy lost, I immediately jumped over to Jason. Watched all the movies, seen how awesome he was, got hooked to Jason. Now that I'm older, and I've rewatched the movies way too many times, and I've come to form my own critiques, as well as taking in other people's critiques. The fact that Jason, in Freddy vs. Jason, is the one that made me switch over to Jason, and now I've seen the other versions of him. This version of Jason is like, I mean, like I said, they picked Ken over Kane because he was 2 inches taller, so size-wise, he's a fucking giant, but he moves stiff. He's basically just Freddy's puppet throughout the movie. That's all. He doesn't have much going on. But he still won. Still beat Freddy. So they respected Jason in that regard, that Jason can't fucking lose. But everything else they did is like, damn. Kind of seems a little disrespectful. Especially the whole water fear. The water fear is not Jason. He drowned. I get where they're coming from with that. I get why they would think. It makes sense why you would think, oh, he drowned. Of course he's gonna have a fear, right? But in part 4, he was in the water. Part 6, we see him walk directly in the water. Part 7, in the water. Part 8, in the water. Just about all the movies, he's in the fucking water. Even at the end of Freddy vs. Jason, he's in the water, so they couldn't even keep it consistent. Although, some people, myself included, have thought that, oh, when he's awake and he's got all his confidence, he doesn't fear nothing, he's able to go in the water. It's only in his subconscious, when he's remembering himself drowning, that's when his fear of water comes out. It's a subconscious thing, it's not a conscious thing. Maybe that makes sense. I can accept that. That's a little better than him just having a fear of water out of the blue or anything like that. Then again, you could argue Jason was, blown into the lake at the end, and then after stabbing Freddy with his own arm, fell into the lake, so he's not actively going in. But he's able to just walk out of the lake calm and casually at the end of the movie, holding Freddy's head. So, clearly he's not that fucking afraid. He's not panicking and rushing to get out of the water as fast as possible. It's just another day to him. This was only supposed to be like 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I've just been rambling. I'm almost home. But, excuse me. I've seen arguments online. I've seen like two. What the hell? Oh, it's my mom calling. Oh, God. Yes, Mother, hello? I can't hear you. You're glitching. What? I'm down the street, Mother. Calm down.
Okay, well, come on so you can go to bed.
I'm not going to bed. I'm pulling an all-nighter.
You're pulling an all-nighter, dude. How are
You...
you going to do what you got to do?
Ma, let me talk. You're making me have to do something way early in the morning. If I go to sleep now, I'm going to sleep through it. You want me to go to the Verizon place, right?
Yes, but we can't go until Michael's ready to go. I guess come home and go to fucking bed, dude.
I don't know how to edit, so we can't edit that out. I'm just going to pretend it didn't happen and carry on. I'll probably end this video when it hits an hour. That'll probably be where I end this. And I may not even go back inside my home until I'm done recording this video. It's probably be the best idea. So I got like 9 minutes. What was I saying before this? Oh yeah. I've seen people online, and I've had at least two or three people actually talk to me directly saying that Jason would have lost. He would have been killed in the dream world by Freddy, and then Freddy won. But I've argued that, can't kill Jason. He can't die. Even when he's quote-unquote dead at the end of each movie and then he's resurrected at the beginning of the next one, he's not dead, he's just resting, he's sleeping. He's not killed, he's defeated. You can't kill Jason, so even if that did happen and he did quote-unquote die in the dream world from Freddy, all that would have happened was I would just temporarily knock Jason out, and then he'll resurrect by the next movie. So that's not really, Jason didn't lose, like he didn't die, but I don't know. Sure, you can't kill Jason, but the defeat is a defeat. So if Freddy did kill Jason in the dream world, would that count as Freddy winning? I don't know. I'd say no, because you didn't kill him. He's gonna come back. You don't really win when it comes to Jason. The best hope you have for winning is just surviving. Just getting the far as fuck away while he's out cold. I'm going to end this video here. I'm about to go inside and Mom's probably going to yell at me. But yeah, this is almost an hour of me nerding out about Jason. Alright, I guess that's it for now. See you guys next time. Peace.